Hello everyone, my name is Auro and welcome to the 20th devlog of my base building game, Chambers of Devious Design. In this devlog, I'll be showcasing various new improvements I've made to the game recently. Some visual effects, some UI stuff, some useless things, and also a bunch of other things. Alright, let's get started. Okay, let me first show you this visual effect I added to placing rooms. So let's place it, this one here. So I don't know if you noticed, maybe you did. There are like these small smoke particles when you lay down a block on the floor. So in my last devlog, when I was showcasing some other visual effects, this one commenter by the name of Sumner Erhard, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but yeah, he had a good point that the rooms felt quite weightless when you place them on the ground, so I'm hoping this smoke cloud should help with that a bit to make it feel like the rooms have a bit more weight to them. But I would love to hear what you think. Do you think this looks good or not, or do you think there's something that I should still improve with the effect? I tried to make it somewhat subtle, so it's not like so much in your face, but it's still visible. In case you're wondering how I did this, it's using the Unity particle system. So when I place a block, it activates that particle system, and the shape is set to the sprite renderer of the walls of any room you place. So it doesn't matter what the shape of the room is, so the particles will always be at the edges of that sprite, as you can see here, or I don't know if you actually saw it there, but let me, yeah, so basically it outlines the room. Now, one problem I had with this is that, as far as I can tell, it's random where the particles appear. So, for example, if you have a big room like this, if the randomness doesn't go your way, it could be so that, for example, just the part of the outline shows the particles and the other part doesn't at all. So that was one problem I had, and I didn't really come up with any good solution for that, I think. But what I did was just to make it so that the bigger rooms actually display more particles. So it becomes less likely that the bigger rooms would suffer from this randomness effect. With small rooms it's not really an issue to begin with, because there's less real estate for the particles. I also added some small color variation to the effect, and because the smoke is actually transparent, sometimes the particles go on top of each other, so that will also affect the coloring a bit. This is not something that you will really notice that much, but I think it slightly improves the effect. But yeah, that's the effect. I would love to hear what you think about it and if you have any improvement ideas for it. And then Underground Alien Studios actually had a somewhat similar idea that when the rooms get picked up, there would also be some kind of an effect, and I now have it toggled on. It's fairly subtle, it's much more subtle than the placing effect. I don't know if you can see it, there's this, it's actually the same animation. I was very lazy, so I just downgraded the transparency a bit and used the same effect. But I'm not really sure if I'm happy with it. First of all, it's very subtle, because when I was testing it out, I noticed that if it's more noticeable, it's not so nice to look at. Let's see, I'll up the transparency a bit to the same level as the placing like visual effect. So yeah, now it's more noticeable, but I don't know, I think it's slightly distracting, especially when there's also the like trail renderer effect going on with the block. But I don't know, what do you think? Do you think that looks nice, or if there's something that I could do to it to make it look nice? Because currently, I don't know, I'm not that big of a fan of the effect. I think the idea is good, but I don't know, my lazy solution is not really that good. Then I also spent quite a bit of time working on my ability system to improve and rework it. So let's give ourselves a few spells. So first of all, the icons are different. I'm now using these flat icons that I think fit the game really well, at least better than the ones I had before. I also decided to remove the names from the abilities since, well, if I demonstrate, now it shows the name in the middle one. So yeah, it's very small and I don't think the name actually like gives you that much additional information. So I figured it's just as easy to remember the icons than it is to remember the names. But now if you hover your mouse over them, you can still see the name and also the description, and yeah. Then I also added some visual effects to this also. So for example, when you activate the targeting of a spell or ability, I don't know which one they actually are, there's this like glow effect around the icon, and then if I place this, for example, here, there's this like small particle effect. You can see bolts of lightning jumping from the room a bit. Let's see, let's destroy a door, for example, here. One small change I also did was that I have these abilities that are not targetable, they just do something, and previously when you click them it activated it right away, but now I made it so that you actually need to press it twice, and I hope that will not be an annoyance to players so much, as the reason I did it was so that to like kind of avoid these unintended like activations. So because with these targetable abilities you actually need to click twice to activate it, but then if you get used to that and some of these abilities like activate when you click only once, I figured that could, yeah, it could cause some issues, I figured. But I'm just hoping the annoyance of having to click twice unnecessarily is not too big. And of course, while revamping these, I also had to add a bunch of new spells to the game. I think I have around 15 different abilities now, and they're color coded so that the like yellow ones are kind of like buffs to your rooms, and then blue ones are kind of like general spells that do something, and red ones are then like kind of like these attack oriented abilities. Then let's continue with the visual effects. Let me show you one more effect I added, which is the victory animation. What do you think? Did I go overboard or was that nice looking? Yeah, so that's also a particle system effect. Then let me show you one really important feature I added. So let me just rotate this block a bit. Do you see it? It's getting faster. So yeah, let me spill the beans. This is actually not useful at all. I don't know why I added this effect in. Yeah, I don't know, I just got the idea and figured, yeah, I'll have to add this feature. I hope it doesn't actually cause any bugs, because I would like to leave it into the game. And yeah, did I mention that I'm actually in a bit of a hurry to finish the demo for the Steam Next Fest, so I don't know why I'm working on features like this. But yeah, that's the feature. I'm fairly proud of it. Maybe someone will actually discover it when playing and they will be happily surprised that yeah, you can spin blocks really fast in this game with no purpose at all. Oh, and one thing I would also like to discuss is this one great comment by Too Technical left on one of my previous devlogs. So in that devlog I was complaining that when I zoom out the game, my graphics get kind of jittery. There are like these hard lines and things that flash when I zoom in and out. Too Technical had this great idea that maybe Mip Maps could help with this. And well, I had never actually heard of Mip Maps, I hadn't needed them before, but I gave it a try and yeah, they actually had a significant impact. Like when I zoomed out, there is still some this small jitteriness, especially with the edges of the rooms, but it's much less than it was before. So yeah, I think that's a great suggestion by Too Technical, and yeah, it really does help. So if you do a lot of zooming with some assets in your game, I highly recommend checking out the Mip Maps and seeing if they will also improve your situation. Aside from the actual gameplay, I also worked on this main menu scene a fair bit. I think the most noticeable thing is this background animation I added. So I was kind of struggling what kind of a background image to put there, but then I tried these patterns that I am using in the game to have one of those as the background, and by adding some shader animations, so yeah, you can see it moving, and then there's also this small glow up effect with it to change the color a bit. I would like to hear what you think about it. Do you think it's alright, or is the pattern maybe too distracting, or anything you have in mind? I would love to hear. Then on top of this main menu view, I also created this character selection screen, which I'm not sure if it's final, but it will at least be final for the demo, I think. So we only have one character for the demo available, which is Vivian. My idea with this character is that each of them will have these different starting abilities and perks, and I think I will have a campaign for each of them, so you will able to unlock the additional benefits by playing through the campaign, and probably you will be able to then unlock the additional characters also by playing through the campaign, so you will only have a few characters to start with and then progress in the game. But yeah, then there's this match settings, which currently is only difficulty, but yeah, and then this is already functional display button, and then I was also working on the tutorial a bit, but that's still a work in progress, as you can see. I also did some work with texts in the game and some audio stuff, but that's not too exciting to show, so I won't show anything. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I did in the last 2 weeks. Let me know what you think and if you have any improvement ideas for me. Alright, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.